Francis Atwoli's continued re-election after every term is because probably he's a good representative of the workers in this country, or probably because he has made enough friends in the Kotu union to the point that he can confer with them and convince them to always elect him. In fact, it should be the 9th wonder of the world that Francis Atwoli has always been elected as the Secretary General of Kotu. He is now close to 2 decades in service as the Secretary General of Kotu, probably the longest serving Kotu Secretary General. I understand Francis Atwoli has been instrumental in taking out the Moi government because he supported the Rainbow Coalition that made Kibaki president. That was in 2002. Francis Atwoli is not a pushover. He is a civil servant, a respected figurehead in this country, an elder to many, a father to the workers in this country, and has been for a long time a principled man in defending the rights of workers. He was strongly supportive of the BBI because therein he thought was the solution to the workers' problems in this country. You understand that Francis Atwoli can only represent, he cannot legislate. So he needs the government, say more so the president, because we've already seen that the presidents in this country, in one way or another, controls the laws and the bills that are passed through parliament. So Francis Atwoli really needs government, especially the executive, especially the president, to run the affairs of the workers' union efficiently. Because he needs to liaise with government to push for legislations that favor workers. That I understand. We all understand. And could be part of the reason why Francis Atwoli always wants to form the next government, so that he pushes for the interest of workers in this country. He was a strong supporter and possibly is of Raila Amolo Odinga. When Francis Atwoli was saying Kateni Miti huko Sugoi, he was 100 or 1,000% sure that William Ruto will not become president. And in his better judgment, he was sure Raila Odinga was going to form government. And he had put his bets right. One, on his personal behalf, and on behalf of the workers of this country. He knew that if Raila formed government, having been a long-time ally of Raila Odinga, he was going to influence policies and legislations that would positively impact the labor sector in this country. Francis Atwoli, to many who do not know, has been a long-time member of ILO, that is the International Labour Organization. He's a distinguished member of this country. And this is not in any way to degrade Francis Atwoli. And I am in no means trying to bring him down. I am creating a context and a perspective so that we push to Francis Atwoli what we think should be the right agenda for the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU. For a long time, Francis Atwoli has been advocating for the rights of disabled people. He has been advocating for a better tax regime that would favor the workers. He's been advocating for equal opportunities to the citizens of this country. And he has moved millions of money into the Tomboya College that seeks to capacity build and train workers in this country. That was started by Tomboya when he was the Minister for Labor Relations. In no way, I in no way attempt to taint or soil the image of Francis Atwoli. I need to remind him that he has lost the way. And as you can see, I understand what KOTU should be standing for. KOTU should be an educator. KOTU should be pursuing on how to capacity build and empower workers in this country with the requisite skills to secure employment or to employ themselves. KOTU should be aiming on how to build strong alliances and on how to hamstring these alliances to work in the favor of the workers in this country. KOTU as an organization should be pushing for a better tax regime that would favor the workers in this country. Unless you are a stranger in Kenya, you already know that the current tax regime in Kenya is not favoring the workers. Say the housing levy, say the increment in HIF deductions. We all understand that the current tax regime we have is so repressive and punitive to the workers in this country, because the government views those that have a payslip in this country as very rich fellows who need to be taxed to the death. KOTU should be pursuing avenues on how to create equal employment opportunities for the youth in this country, because we all know we have an unemployment problem in this country that this government is not focused on solving. And we are not seeing Francis Atwoli making noise about this, because as the Secretary General, it is his role to communicate the position of KOTU and to push government to deliver to Kenyans and to workers. We are not seeing him doing that. Francis Atwoli, the Secretary General of KOTU, has the relations, the alliances, the friendships to push for a better agenda for the workers of this country successfully, because he has international friends who are friends of this country, and he is a member of many international labor organizations that champion for the social justice and for the rights of workers in this country. But he seems to have forgotten all that, especially when he crossed over from Raila Odinga to the William Ruto government. Francis Atwoli has forgotten that we are unemployed in this country. He has forgotten that that workers in this country do not have the requisite skills to perform, the requisite skills to perform their jobs, and they are not even educated about their workers' rights, because it is the role of KOTU to inform workers of this and to train workers. Francis Atwoli has forgotten he has strong alliances that he can use to marshal for the better interests of the workers in this country. Francis Atwoli has forgotten that as KOTU Secretary General and as the figurehead of KOTU, because many Kenyans do not even know who the chairperson and the chairman of KOTU is. They only know Francis Atwoli. He has forgotten that it is in his role to push for better tax proposals and better tax legislations for and those that advance the interest of the workers in this country and those that cushion the workers in this country. He has forgotten his roles as the Secretary General, or he is too comfortable in government right now because possibly he has bargained for a deal with President William Ruto to the point that he has forgotten the needs of the workers in this country, and they are not a priority to him anymore. And so the onus is on us, the citizens of this country, to remind Francis Atwoli that he is failing the workers of this country, that he has failed us, and for the past 2 years, he has soiled everything he has fought for. You see, the same way people were saying that Raila Odinga has drenched in muddy water the legacy he has built for 30 years. That is the same exact thing that Francis Atwoli has done. He has taken himself to a rogue government. He has taken himself to a punitive government. He has taken himself to the hangers bid, and he is doing the bidding of the government. It is very shocking that Francis Atwoli would tell Farouk Kibet to issue a warrant of arrest on the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. As who? Francis Atwoli has no powers to order for the arrest of any citizen in this country. Second, Francis Atwoli should tell us What arresting powers does Farouk Kibet have so that Francis Atwoli would advise Farouk Kibet to move with immediate speed to arrest Gachagua? Francis Atwoli is now pushing for the extension of the presidential term limit from 5 to 7 years. If I am not wrong, he advocated for this agenda and advanced this agenda when he was at his Quisero village some few days ago. Francis Atwoli, the fighter of workers, the fighter of democracy, the fighter of a better Kenya, has forgotten his place. Today, he is pushing the agenda of the government, and he knows this government is not serving the interests of Kenyans and of workers. He knows this is not what he stands for, but he is in government and comfortable at it. And he has forgotten he has too much power and too much influence in this country. And whatever he says sticks to many Kenyans. And he's misusing this power to prop up this bad government, which we all know is killing Kenyans and the Kenyan industry. I mean, literally, this government is abducting Kenyans, torturing the rest of the activists, detaining so many Kenyans without trial. And we all saw how this government is even shooting live ammunition to Kenyans on the street. The same government that is proposing punitive tax regimes is the government now Francis Atwoli is comfortable championing and advancing its agenda. You tell me, Francis Atwoli, the hero of many, has fallen from his glory and from his legacy. He is now a man who we see as a puppet for this government. I mean, it is the same thing Raila Odinga did. So many Kenyans, especially those who have been advancing the ideals of democracy and who have been pushing for a better country, know that this is not the better country we want. Know that this is not the better government we were looking for. And they are wondering, and they are perplexed. In fact, they are dumbfounded that Raila Odinga forsake all his ideals for democracy and for constitutionalism and for a better country to dine with the current president and the current regime. Raila Odinga, the one who fought for multipartyism, is now cheering the cannibalization of political parties in this country. We all know we do not have an opposition in this country. Raila Odinga, he, the enigma who fought for a better constitution, is now watching in silence as this constitution is being butchered and brutalized day and night. Raila Odinga, the champion of social rights, is now watching as children are being abducted, tortured, arrested, and detained without trial. I am sure Raila Odinga would never want anyone to go through the torture that he went through in Moi's regime. Why is he comfortable with that same torture and same ill treatment being perpetrated on activists and on young citizens of this country? Has he forgotten how bad it feels to be oppressed by your own government? It is the same thing that Francis Atwoli is doing. If Francis Atwoli was a worker today, he would feel the pain in the payslips. I was looking at a proposal that Nelson Amenya, Professor Alfred Omenya, shared on X the other day. A sum total of all the taxes the government has propped up in the last few months brings us to around 49% of tax deductions in our payslips. So you tell me, as a Kenyan living in this country, are you comfortable giving out 50% of your salary to this government? Especially when you can see zero accountability for the taxes they deduct. We already know the housing levy benefits the rich because those houses are built for the rich. There's nothing affordable about the affordable housing program. We already know that the digital tax Kenyans have been paying for cannot be accounted for, and we cannot show what importance, what project or what initiative that digital tax has done. That digital tax should be coming back to these Kenyans who are in the digital service industry. It should be training them and capacity building them. We should see the government building, capacity building our YouTubers. What's the point of deducting digital tax from them if we cannot see that money being injected back to our economy? The same way the government deducts you money for NHIF and you can pay for hospital expenses using NHIF, where does the digital tax go to? We've already seen that the government has proposed to increase the road maintenance levy, while we cannot already see, as it is, the maintenance of the already existing roads.